This TED Talk talks about feedback and the feedback loop. Um, Speaker talks about pretty much the future of the workplace and how it's about to get hit with a lot of feedback, and just kind of talks about the feedback process. There's a giver and a receiver, and the receiver benefits from feedback. Talks about the feedback loop. He goes into how feedback is supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be a simple process and help improve our processes and make us better. He goes into talk about how feedback in everyday life is becoming less and less relevant. He gives an example of like a Fitbit telling you to go get exercise in because you ate ice cream. Like, that's just it's kind of getting less relevant. He goes into talking about how our brains are wired to overhype positive feedback and kind of go into fight or flight mode when we receive negative feedback, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And I feel like a lot of us have kind of experienced that. I know I have sort of experienced that through different experiences in life. For me, it's through athletics. I'll have a good game or something, and I'll get praise, and coach will say, "Hey, good job," and I'll feel really good about myself. Or I'll have not so good of a game, and I'll feel awful, and things like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. He talks about how feedback process has to have a closed loop, and the fact that feedback kind of loses its meaning when the process of receiving or giving feedback is not complete. That was kind of interesting. Talks about how managers are saying how they think that performance evaluations are unfair, and how he says if you're higher up in an organization, you probably haven't had a performance evaluation done, because he gave the statistic that 95% of managers say that these performance evaluations are unfair. I thought that was interesting. Kind of weird too, because if you have control to make it more fair and make it more relevant and more useful, why wouldn't you do that when you have the ability to? Anyways, it goes into talk about how people drive businesses and emotions drive people. So I kind of took that as the better that a business or a manager or an employer can, I guess, manipulate or drive emotions, the better you can get people to complete a task that you want, or buy into an idea, or something as simple as purchasing a product or something. And then he kind of finishes up with, or this is just kind of what I took away from the whole TED Talk, encouraging others and just kind of praising their input and soaking in feedback from others. That's just kind of what I took away from all of it. Thought it was a good TED Talk, something that there's bits and pieces that we can all learn from and take away from it.